So sorry guys, I thought I was streaming. I've been having a show here for 10 minutes already almost, and at that point I noticed that wait a minute, I don't get the comments are a bit weird. And yeah, thank you. Now I see that I get confirmation from you that I'm live. Really nice. Yeah. Okay. Sorry for this. Yeah, I'm really not used to streaming, as you probably noticed. So yeah, bear with me. Thank you everyone for sticking around and waiting. So. Welcome everyone. Sorry I had you waiting. I really thought I was already streaming. It turns out that I was streaming for myself. Apparently there are two buttons that you need to press in order to start streaming. First on the streaming software, and then in YouTube there is a live button as well. Okay, you live and learn. So today we're celebrating the release of my latest album, Synthesizer Legends Volume 1. So really happy to hear from you that so many of you have already told me that you have received the album today, and yeah, you seem to be liking it. So I'm really glad about that. Thank you. Really nice to see that. Yeah, there is some questions about. I get the question a lot about digital download, because normally when I release an album, I've always put it out on Bandcamp as well. And this time this is just a cover album. I mean, it has only covers, and Bandcamp doesn't have a system for copyright royalties, so they don't have a system for giving like royalties to the copyright originators. So you can only upload your own songs that you have like 100% rights to, or if you have gotten kind of exclusive right to use a song on Bandcamp. So that's why it's much easier just to not have them digitally on Bandcamp. CDs and vinyls are fine because those are being registered by other means, and the copyright owners get their share. So yeah, if you want the digital download, I was about to say please check out the link I had pinned to the top of the chat, but I've already removed the pin. Anyway, you will find it in the description of this stream later, or actually I could give you the link from where you can stream or download the album. I will put it in the chat while we are listening to the next song, to the first song, and yeah, then you can take it from there. Okay, yeah, so let me just a few seconds. I will put my yeah, this is fun. I have so many windows here going on. Yeah, anyway, so Synthesizer Legends Volume 1. It's always a bit risky to name an album Volume 1, because then it means that you have to have a Volume 2 at least later on. And you have to bear with me a bit, because it's going to take a few years before I get the Volume 2 out. I already have ideas for up to Volume 5, I think, but I'm probably dead before that happens. So but at least a Volume 2 I really should be able to get out. Oh, thank you, Retro Gaming Music. I didn't even know that these stickers or these donation buttons work, because I was told that from my YouTube partners that they are disabled. But okay, perhaps it works in the live streams. Okay, I'm happy about that. Yeah, but why did I do this album? So the reason is that I started doing covers. I've always loved playing covers also with other bands, because I always felt that you can do something extra about them. I mean, you can make them your own, and the audience recognize the song, especially if you're a completely unknown band and you go and play live somewhere, and if you play a cover, they won't of course recognize your songs, but the covers they recognize. So that's why when I started doing my live shows, I knew that I want to have a few covers with me, and then then I started to make covers, and been making covers for 10 years now on the side. And usually I make them before going on tour, because when I go on tour, I like to bring some new covers as well. And but then I've gotten a lot of requests about if I could could I please make studio versions of these songs, or make versions which doesn't have the audience, the sound of the audience on them. And I've been thinking about it since the second album that I ever made. Since Perplexagon, I've been thinking about, should I put some covers here? But then I just felt that the style of the albums wasn't suitable for putting covers, because they didn't go together well with my other songs. So then I kind of just put them to the side, and they piled up, and all of a sudden I realized, wait a minute, now I have so many songs that I could actually make a whole album with them. And then when I started to plan this, I realized that okay, the songs, I actually have even more songs. So I have more songs that I could possibly make like several albums of this. And also I felt that, okay, there are some cover songs that don't go like well together. And if I make a cover album, there really should be some kind of red line going through or some idea of the songs, of why have I put these songs together on the album. So yeah, I see I have a lot to talk about. So let's listen to a song before going forward with the story about the album. So the first song that I want to present to you is the first. We're going to go through the track on the album. So in order. So we start with the first track. And the first track is Flight of the Navigator. So it's the main title from the movie Flight of the Navigator. And it's by Alan Silvestri originally. And this song was brought to my attention first by Tim Burden. Not Tim Burton, Tim Burden. At the Film Music Festival in Prague a few years ago. And he asked me that, have you heard this song? And I was like, not the name of the movie is familiar. I think I've seen the movie when I was young. And then he said, okay, let me show you the song from his cell phone. And it was really difficult to find the song. It was really difficult to find any version. And eventually he found some rip on YouTube and a bad quality version. But anyway, I got the idea of it then. And so then he showed me it, and I was like, yeah, I didn't recognize the tune, but I've definitely seen the movie, and it felt kind of familiar. And so yeah, then I thought that why not? It could be a nice idea to make a version of this song. So I thought when I started doing this cover album, I thought, hey, this could really fit on this album. And yeah, so then I decided to make a cover. And yeah, so this is what it sounds like. Flight of the Navigator, main title. Yeah, so that was Flood of the Navigator. Oops, not yet. I was supposed to stop this a bit earlier, so I would time it, but okay, we'll manage. Yeah, getting a lot of questions. Thank you for your support. But I've gotten. Thank you, Holly, for the support, and thank you, Retro Gaming. I think I already thanked you, but yeah, I can thank again. And hello, everyone who are tuning it a bit later. You are not that late because I was late myself. I thought I was streaming, but I hadn't pushed all the right buttons, so I was talking to myself for 10 minutes. Then we had to redo it. So now I'm not sure what I've already told you or what I haven't told you. So I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. Anyway, I think we'll find the flow of this quite soon. Yeah, where was I? Let's perhaps, Flood of the Navigator that you were just listening to. There is also a music video of the song, and you can find it on YouTube. And I also have a making of video. So if you're interested in how I compose the songs and how I arrange them. Okay, in this case I haven't composed, I've only been arranging. So right now the workshop videos are only about arranging and mixing and producing the songs. So it's really technical and a bit arrangement wise as well might be interesting. So yeah, check out those if you haven't seen them. There are this song has one workshop video, and there are more that will be out later on. There was one question that I think I'm going to take. The question came from I think I lost it in the feed already. Anyway, the question was the rights hard to get to use these songs? And no, actually, when you make covers. If you release an album with covers and you have like a distribution network for releasing it on, I'm not speaking about Bandcamp now. So if you're thinking about Bandcamp, this doesn't apply to Bandcamp. But if you're releasing a CD, vinyl, or for digital streaming distribution like Spotify and so on, and you have a good distributor, then you just fill out a form basically, and then you pay some money. And that's it. You just fill out a form. Which songs do you want to use, and on what album are you going to use them? And yeah, that's it. So it's really easy. The problem comes then if you want to sell it on a Bandcamp, because you can't do that. Then you have to have exclusive permission from all the rights holders. So and in like popular tunes, it's basically impossible to get. So that's why I only have it on. You can find it on CD and vinyl, but you can't find it on Bandcamp. But there is streaming. I forgot about that. I was supposed to. I have to write down everything, otherwise I will forget it. But I will put out the streaming link during the next song, where you can stream or download the album. Right. So why Synthesizer Legends? Why the name? I don't know if I already told you this, because as I told you, I was speaking 10 minutes to myself before starting this stream. But it was about, the inspiration for these albums, or this like Volume 1 and hopefully Volume 2 to come in a few years, was obviously Synthesizer Greatest. I was about to say trilogy, but it's actually 5 or 6 or 7 albums, I think. And that series was made by a Dutch producer called Ed Starink, and was the reason why there are many songs like Crockett's Theme. I had never heard that song before I heard it on the Synthesizer Greatest album. So that album series that came out in the 80s and 90s really introduced me to a lot of synthesizer music that I was completely unaware of. And nowadays it's much easier when you have YouTube, but in the 80s we didn't have that. Or internet for that matter. You went to a library, and if you were lucky, you lived in a town that had a well-equipped library. But I lived in a really small town, so there wasn't. Yeah, music was hard to come by. Basically, it was what you was listening to on the radio and TV. That's what you kind of ended up listening on. Fortunately for me, there was a lot of synthesizer music going on in the 80s, so that really is the reason for why I'm doing synthesizer music now, because it's kind of the music of my childhood. So, but yeah, back to the definition of the reason of the name, the Synthesizer Legends. So why did I call this series of albums Synthesizer Legends? Well, we actually have to, if you think about the word legend, it can mean two different things. So it can be a legend, kind of a traditional story, like a myth or saga or a fairy tale or something like that. And the other one, other use of legend is a kind of a celebrity or a star or somebody, a famous person or somebody who's really great and well known in what they are doing. So I thought this is a good opportunity to make a kind of use of that, that this word has two completely different definitions. So some of the songs on the album are really like made by legendary synthesizer composers. The songs in themselves are so famous that they are legends, or they are like myths or something that you have, it's kind of a folk tale that somebody tells you that, do you know this song? And then you're like, I think I might have heard it like 20 years ago, and you try to, as I just with the previous song, you try to find it and you can't find it. It's really difficult to find a good version of it, or like the original version in a good quality. And so yeah, so I thought that, okay, it's a good opportunity to put like both famous songs, but also songs that are less famous and even very unknown. So that's something that I'm hoping on, but still like good songs. So that's something I'm hoping on continuing in the next album as well. Okay, so next up we have the second track on the album. It's Power Run. And that's a famous space synth Italo disco song. Actually, I think it's one of the songs that define the genre space synth. And this is the first time ever that I'm using the vocoder on my synth. And normally I don't use the vocoder, but I have a vocoder, and people are like, I have a great vocoder, and people are like, we're not using it. So then I thought, okay, this could be an opportunity to use it. First I was a bit like, I'm not sure I'd want to do it, but then I tried it and I was like, actually this is quite easy. It works really nicely, and it wasn't that difficult to get a good sound, because it's a great vocoder. So anyway, here we go. So this is let me see if I can time it now. I need some light here to see. Okay, oh, actually I do have some light here. I think we are almost on the spot, a bit more to the left. Yeah, this should be an empty space. So let's fade in. I'm not a good DJ. Really, yeah. It's the first time I've ever DJ'd as well. I realized that I forget to stop the vinyl when the song has ended. So yeah, a lot to learn here clearly. I'm sorry, I'm running really behind in your comments here. I think the bar is on the middle of the screen right now, so. I'm trying to read all the comments that I get and questions. I can see we're already about 400 people almost here, and from something like 20 different countries at least, or perhaps more. I really lost track of all the comments, but yeah, I'm doing my best. I got one question, and an old question came earlier already, and that was about the Daniel, Kandi and Talla 2XLC remixes. That how did they contact me? And with Daniel, it was actually Daniel contacted me, I think, and wanted to do something together, and then I think it was just about the time that I was thinking about doing this remix album. So it was a really good kind of it just sort of happened, So a good opportunity then, and I asked him, would you be interested in doing 2 remixes and mix the whole album, because I really loved what he did for the Angina Beats Worldwide, which Worldwide 03, I think the album is, which is my favorite trance compilation. I don't listen much to trance these days, to be honest, but I thought it was really fun to go back to and listen to that music, and also watch what he was doing, and we had actually a couple of sessions where he was working on the album mix, and yeah, that was really interesting to see. With Talla, it was actually my label who suggested that I could ask Talla to do something, or do a couple of a remix. And we asked him because Six is working with Talla, so they recommended him to me, and then Six contacted Talla and asked if he was interested in doing remixes, or actually one remix, and it turned out really great, and then we did another one as well, and and of course I mean, the people have to like the music that work with the remixes. I mean, if you just ask somebody random to make a remix of your song, and they don't even like your song, well, then won't necessarily be that good. But yeah, that's in a nutshell the story of how I got involved with Daniel and Talla. And we back to this album. So the time is really flying here, but yeah, fortunately we're not on a strict time schedule. And this was Power Run by Laserdance, and the song, the music video, there is a music video online of this of my version, and there is also a making of video where I'm explaining how I arranged my version and how I recorded and mixed it. So check that out if you haven't done so. Next up, we are going to the first cover I ever did as Kebu and as a solo artist. And that song was also part of my first tour back in 2012. And I usually make these covers when I go on tour, because I want to kind of surprise the audience with something that they didn't expect. And sometimes it might also be that I'm going to a certain type of festival, and I want to perhaps make something that is fitting for that festival. And so the next song is Jean-Michel Jarre's fourth Rendez-Vous, and that one sounds like this. Let me see if I can get it right. Yeah, we're still on the other one, but yeah. Bear with me, it will take a while. Okay, here we go. Fourth Rendezvous. Now I will remember to stop the vinyl player even. Yeah, thanks for the comments. Again, something happened and it just I just lost track of where where I am in the chat feed. Anyway, there were a few questions I found out before I lost track of where I was, and that was what vocoder did I use for the not the previous song, but the song before that, Power Run. That was a Roland VP330 Mark 1, which I have far in the back right now, but it's MIDI retrofitted, so I have a 10-meter XLR cable, and one of the MIDI hubs is over there in the rack, so I can control it from here. So that's quite convenient. I don't have it powered right now. But anyway, that's the vocoder I was using. And then somebody was asking that what vinyl player am I using? It's an Omnitronic BD1350, it says. And it's really just a quite cheap one that I bought 20 years ago. But I replaced the cartridge on it. Because the original cartridge wasn't that great, somebody told me that replacing the cartridge with a bit better one, you will really make the sound better, and it did like a huge difference. And cartridge, I think it's not in production anymore. It was also kind of a budget cartridge, not that expensive. It was less than €100. I think the vinyl player was probably 150 or something back in the days. Anyway, the cartridge is a Shure M92E. Yeah, that's a really good cartridge, and I would like to find a new needle for it because I haven't done anything to it since I think I changed the cartridge 15 years ago, and I haven't done anything about it after that. And I really should. I know this now. If you when you listen to this, and if you compare it to the stream or the digital version, you can hear that the stereo width it's not it's much wider on the digital versions if you stream it or download it or have it on CD than on the vinyl it's much wider than what you can hear now. And that is due to my vinyl player, I think, because I realized that the it's a bit off, so it's kind of it's not in center. The signal is kind of a bit tilted, so I think that I think I really need to change the cartridge or the needle at least. So yeah, but that's I'm taking too much time for one question here, and I'm never going to be able to go through all your questions. But I'll try to pick at least the ones that I spot. That was the questions, and the song we just listened to was Fort Rendez-Vous by Jean-Michel Jarre, and Jarre is of course a legend in himself. So was easy to why he's on the one that's on the album. I actually have two songs by Jarre, and it's difficult to make a 80s synthesizer album. With only one Jarre song. So that's the reason, and I have a second reason for why the other song is included, but later on that. Later on today I'm also going to tell you about my tour next year, because I have quite a few dates coming up, and I do a lot of work right now. Actually, it's the only thing I do right now after the album promotion was done. Then I haven't done any music since June. I've been making videos. I've been making doing bureaucracy. It feels like promotion for the album, videos of course a lot, and then now I'm working on booking a tour. My booking agents has had really problem finding any gigs for me. So 90% of the gigs I've have booked myself so far. I think it's even more. So a lot of work. And and probably my last tour for many years ahead, because it just takes too much time to arrange tours for me these days. So anyway, but later on that, let's go to the next next song, and I'll introduce the next song, and then I'll try to find out where was I in the chat feed. Anyway, next song I did originally for the Stockholm Italo Disco Festival that I was invited to play in 2015, I think it was. Yeah, 2015. And I chose a song that was it's from a TV series of a series that wasn't aired that many places, but at least I think can't remember which countries, at least Finland, I think it could have been Germany, I'm not sure, and a few other countries in Europe, and it's called Streethawk, Katuhaukka in Finnish. And they only had one season, they only made one season of the show, and after that they gave it up. It was kind of a copy of Knight Rider, but with a motorcycle instead of a car. And but the theme song was fantastic. And again, it was one of these songs that's really hard to find a good quality version of the song online. You mostly actually find covers or like remakes or remixes of the song. And I think the song that was used, or the version of the song is made by composed by Tangerine Dream, and it was released on their Le Parc album. And if you listen to that song and listen to the bad quality clips on YouTube of the TV show, you can hear that it sounds different. And I think it was kind of remixed, or they I think they basically was a remix or a kind of an edit of the song that they used for the TV show. So when I made my version of the song, I really listened a lot to the bad quality YouTube versions of the TV series title tune, and so that was the my inspiration for that, and let's listen to what it sounds like. So Oops. I probably should crossfade before I press the button. Okay, that was Le Parc Streethawk by Tangerine Dream. Some of you ask me when will you ever release the session that I did with Thorsten Quaeschning, who is the current band leader of Tangerine Dream. He took over after Edgar Fröse, but then he worked with Edgar Fröse for a long time, and Edgar wanted that Thorsten continues with the band. And I really like the latest album that they've done, and they're on tour. They're on tour right now, and well, the story goes that we recorded it, unfortunately not on video, and that's unfortunate. But it was just such a hectic time. I had a Superboot concert the next day, and yeah. And it came on a kind of a short notice, the whole idea. The story goes that I was heading for the film music festival in Prague, and while I was on the road down to Prague, I got a call from the film music festival, and they had a really big problem because they were supposed to have an ARP 2600. Back in those days, 2019, there was only the original and a recreation by TTSH, which was really rare. So there were a big problem because the ARP that they were supposed to rent or to let Michael Stein and Carl Dixon, who has made the Stranger Things soundtrack music, they were going to perform there, and they needed an ARP 2600, but the one that they were promised was all of a sudden broken, or they couldn't get it or something. I think the owner had a heart attack or something like that. It was like, okay, story. So they asked me, do you know anyone? And I started to call around a lot, and then all of a sudden, after a few calls, I think it was after I called Andreas Schneider in Berlin, that he said that, but why don't you ask Thorsten, because I think he has a clone. And then I actually Thorsten, I set out I asked Andreas, but Andreas directed me to somebody else who had it, but it wasn't available. Right, and Thorsten put out on, I had put out a Facebook request as well, and Thorsten replied to the request and say, hey, I have a TTSH clone of that synth in Berlin. Why don't you come and pick it up? But by that time I was already in Prague. And but then it was great, because then the organizers in Prague had somebody drive up to Berlin and get Thorsten's synth and then take it back. And Michael and Kyle was really happy that they got that I had organized the ARP clone for them, because yeah, they could do their show, which was great. I really liked the lighting, especially was fantastic. They had like yeah, let's not go into details now. I'm boring you with my stories, but anyway. Back to the main story arc, and that was that I had to return the ARP then. So of course after the show, and I was going to Berlin anyway, or I was going through Berlin because I was going back to Finland. So then I dropped by Thorsten's place, and then he invited me in and we discussed a bit, and then he asked me if I'm going to Superbooth. Which was like in a few months' time, and I was, yeah, I'm going to perform there. And he said, hey, let's do a session together, and that's how we did the session together. Okay, so after the session was done, and we had an audience of I think 40 persons or something, and we recorded an improvised session. I've never done anything like it. I'm so glad I was able to do it, because it was such a complete different way of working, and I was like, we're never going to be able to perform like 30 minutes even, and we ended up like with a almost 2-hour long set. And Thorsten made the first mix and sent me and said, please come back to me when you have time. So I kept him up to date, and I told him that I'm really busy right now, and it's on my to-do list. But it took me 3 years or 2.5 years before I had time to work on it. And then I did an edit of it, and now it's my turn. Now I've been trying for the past 1.5 years to get hold of Thorsten, and I can't reach him. So if somebody knows him, please ask him to get back to me, because I think we have a really good mix and edit of that session together that could be released. So I would really much like to release it, and but I know Thorsten is really busy this year because they have been on a international tour with Tangerine Dream. So yeah, of course, I mean, it's a bit difficult to do these other projects in the meantime. So anyway, again, long answer to a short question. Fortunately, there aren't that many questions coming in. Anyway. Where was I? Yeah, that was the session. The next song up. Well, first of all, before he goes away, goes back, I have to say hi to Madis as well and thank him, because Madis has been test listening this album and sent me comments on the master and the mixes and they were really helpful, and I think I managed to improve the album mixes thanks to his comments. So yeah, thank you for that. He is acknowledged in the album. Next song is we're speaking about the film music festival. This is a song I performed there, and I performed several others also of the same composer. But originally I made this song for the FedCon event, a sci-fi event in Germany that takes place every year. And then I was like, okay, I need to come up with a few sci-fi covers for the festival. And then I thought, okay, Blade Runner is a nice song to do, and then I did the Blade Runner end titles, and the Blade Runner end titles, my version sounds like this. and that's the end of side A on the album. So we will switch sides now. We'll turn off the vinyl mixer in the meantime. Madis asked me why I don't have any salmiakki in my in my glass. I have a glass here with water, unfortunately, because I have to drive back from my studio after this is over. So yeah, but yeah, it's next time I have some salmiakki in it or a beer. Speaking about Madis, speaking about Vangelis who sadly passed away. Vangelis sadly passed away in May. This previous song was by Vangelis. I don't remember if I told you that, but okay, I think everybody probably who is listening to this stream probably recognized Vangelis anyway. I will switch to this camera here, and I'll show you something. I don't know what the audio will be like. I'm trying to but here is something recorded from my studio 24th of August last year. Yeah, exactly. Great. Yeah, good times. That was recorded at my studio, and a small teaser for you. As you know, everything for me takes a hell of a long time to do, and I just have to accept it. The problem is I do everything myself, and that takes a hell of a lot of time. And sometimes I'm wondering, why can't I get? I'm working on, I'm working on something, and would I like to start to tease about it or release something about it? Well, this was the first teaser, but I won't tell you any more right now because it might take 1.5 years before this project is finished. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, we had a good time in Finland with Madis, and I'm sure we will have more good times coming. And the video you just saw was Madis playing on my Andromeda. Unfortunately, the camera, it was a bit blurry because the lens is not an autofocus lens, so I wasn't able to get it sharp for you. But yeah, that's a teaser, so that's how it should be. Okay, right. I got a few other questions as well, which I'm going to take here. There was a lot of questions about the vinyl because it's sold out. Oh, I already switched sides. Okay, I forgot about that. It's already sold out. It might be that there are. Honestly, I'm not certain. Can you find it anywhere? It's we have made 500 limited copies, and those are all sold out right now. And I've been speaking with my label. It's possible that we do a tour edition, an even more limited tour edition that I will only be selling on my tour. And of course, if there are some leftovers after the tour, then I will put them up on Bandcamp. So there will probably be a few more coming. The main problem these days is, I think, I'm starting to get quite a big catalog, and it's, I think my label is getting a bit reluctant to keep, have a continuous stock of all my products, and because they are available on, I have now 5 vinyls, and I have 8 CDs, I think, and they don't sell that much. I mean, when you press CDs, then you should go for at least 1,000 CDs because it makes economic sense. But then it doesn't make sense if you sell 100 a year, perhaps. So that's kind of the challenge. And now I started to have so many albums. So it might be that in the future we're just going to see more and more kind of limited releases. unfortunately. But yeah, I'm at least I'm happy that I have physical products of all my albums and EPs even until that I made until now. So I'm actually quite. I think it's for an indie artist that's not so common, I think. There was also another. Okay, yeah. So to conclude that question, there might be a tour edition coming up, and that would be then on my tour next spring. Speaking about that, a few words about my upcoming tour. Let me see if I can find it here. So you've already seen that I've had a few dates out, but if you go to my homepage, you will see that there are many more tour dates released now. And just go to kebu.fi, and you won't be able to see them from this because it's blurry and reflections. But anyway, go to kebu.fi and you will find my tour dates there. There are plenty of more coming. I just wanted to tease those now because I think it's good that you are aware of when what dates I now have confirmed. I have now about 20 dates confirmed, and I'm working on perhaps getting hopeful. In the best case, I will have about 30 dates. They are all unfortunately in Europe because I'm currently restricted to going by car, and I have to drive everywhere with the van because we have so much equipment. I mean, only my keyboard rig takes up half my van, and then my lighting and technicians stuff takes up the other half of the van. So yeah, we it's only possibility is to tour by van. And I mean, I can't go to the States, for instance, and have like 30, 40 perhaps persons showing up on a concert, because that's what I mean, I get right now I have between 50 to 150 persons on my concerts. So that's also the problem why it's really difficult for me to arrange tours, because no booking agent in their right mind would be interested, in working with me, because there is no economy in it for them. If they take 20% share of a gig that you have perhaps 100 persons showing up, it's not much in comparison to the work that you have to do, the rental of the venue and so on. But yeah, so I've started to rent the venues myself and arrange the concerts, but then again, it takes a lot of work, unfortunately. Yes, that about that. Somebody asked me what mixer board am I using. Check out my workshop videos. For technical questions, there is quite a lot of stuff there, and especially the introductory studio workshop video. I'm telling you in details about my mixer board and how everything in the studio is set up. So please check out that one. Let's go to the first song on the B-side. And that is Oxygene Part 4 by Shamusha Jar. And it's a different version that you noticed. And this version is the reason why... Well, okay. I'm beginning many sentences here, but I'm not finishing any one. So let's go back to the first one. So first of all, you've noticed on Synthesizer Legends Volume 1, it's only 80s covers. So it's I've chosen only songs from the 80s. So then you might ask, what in the world does Oxygene Part 4 do on the vinyl? Well, it's because I heard it the first time in the 80s, and I heard it on a Finnish television show that used a hypnosis version, cover version of Oxygene, which is from the cover version is from the 80s, and I was like, wow, this is a great song. And then it took me perhaps 10 years, and then I heard the original Oxygene Part 4, and I was like, I hadn't heard it for a long time, and I was like, it feels a bit lame. I remember it was a bit like more punchier and a bit more kind of edgier, and this is quite lame, I thought at the time. Now I like that version, of course, as well. But then I found out that, okay, so it's actually, I've been listening to a cover version. So this Hittimittari TV show, it was called, used an edit of the hypnosis version of Oxygene, and that has been kind of that edit has been the main inspiration for my version of Oxygene Part 4. So let's listen to what it sounds like. It starts exactly like the hypnosis covers edit starts like. So this is how it goes. Yeah, that was Oxygen Part 4. Somebody asked me, has Shami Shajar ever reached out to me? No, I haven't, never met him, unfortunately. Actually, when I performed in Super Booth, I think it was in 2019. Yeah, I think it was 2019, 2017. I'm not sure. Perhaps 2017. Then I heard that he had been there just like half an hour before my gig, but he probably had left already by when my gig started. So, yeah, it was a bummer. Anyway, I have to take up my notepad because I have to write down what you are asking me and trying to keep track of everything. It's not that easy. Anyway, this song there's also available as a music video on YouTube, and a making of video is coming in January. And somebody asked me to jump back even one more song regarding the Blade Runner song. What Yamaha synthesizer was I using? Is it a CS80? It's the smaller version because the CS80 is it's out of my price league by now. But the CS50 has the same voice boards, so it has the same, exactly the same quality of the sound, but it's much more limited. It just has 4 sounds that you can play at the same time. It has a great aftertouch, but not as good keyboard as the CS80. But it's still a really good version. And thanks for letting me know. The Prague event seems to have the wrong link on my homepage. I have to fix that. Ticket links in general are coming up on. I'm trying to make as many links available as possible on the 5th by the 15th this month. But yeah, they will come up when they come up, because I'm working with so many different venues and promoters, booking agents, and it's just impossible to try to get like everything out on the same day. I've told them about I still have many concerts that I'm working on that I don't know will I get them confirmed or not. So yeah, those come up when they come up. But I will on the 15th I was planning on I will list in gray which cities I'm still working on, just so you know that you can, if you for instance, if you live in one of those gray cities, then you might want to wait and see, can I get a concert there? If you don't live in the neighborhood of those cities, then you can feel safe to buy tickets to whatever city is the closest to you. Okay, next up is probably my most awaited song or cover from is this one was inspired by the Michael Cassette's cover, and I made this my version of it for my first tour in 2012, and after that this song has become my paranoid. It's like that means that I have to, or I don't have to, but I kind of also want to. I think it's only one concert ever where I have not performed this song, and this is Crockett's theme, originally composed by Jan Hammer. I opted to take a short version of the ending on for the album because vinyl is kind of limited to. I mean, you can safely put like 20 minutes per side, but if you go over that, then you So I thought this is a good place to shorten it. Live, you can usually tell the mood of me by listening to this, the ending kind of feels that I do, or the kind of the ending of how the whole song ends. So somebody should do a psychological analysis of those ones. It would make for some interesting readings, at least for me. Glad you like this one. I thank you everyone for all your wonderful comments. I'm a bit bad at how to say, perhaps acknowledging praise or kind of especially now in the live chat. I am mostly focusing on answering questions. Hey, I noticed that the chat feed for me, I can't go back just a certain I can go back for something like perhaps 5 minutes, I guess. So if you have any questions that I haven't answered, it's because I probably missed them and now they are already gone. So if you have an unanswered question, please ask it again and I will do my best to spot it this time and answer it. There was somebody who asked about Kickstarter. Have I ever considered doing Kickstarter? And the short answer to that is yes, I have considered it, but it's illegal in Finland, and we have a long post and debate on that on Facebook. So I just have to. You can dig it up from Facebook if you're interested, but believe me, it's forbidden in Finland, unfortunately. So so now when we speak about money, I'm sorry about the ads, but I've put there are 3 settings for the stream. You can have like aggressive advertisement, you can have normal, and you can have was it relaxed or laid back or passive, something like that. And so I put it on the slowest rate by now. Anyway, I get the money from the ads that you are watching. So it's money for me. So thank you for watching the ads, and I have no idea when the ads occur, and I realized that it's better to just set YouTube to make it automatically, because I already have so much to think about here, so it's a bit overwhelming. And one more question, and that was about how long does it take for me to make a cover like this. And it's quite if I work I would say about between 30 to 50 hours. So I can do it in a week if needed. And so it's not that bad, I think. I mean, if there are, of course, considering the way I do it, but the way I do it is after those 50 hours, then I just need like 10 hours preparation, and then I can take it live almost. And then I have to rehearse it as well, of course. But anyway, so that's roughly how long it takes. So we just listened to Crockett's theme, and this video has I think it has almost 30 million views, so it's really became my paranoid. The video which is on YouTube is from my second concert ever as Kebu. So the first concert was the day before, and it was on the west coast of Finland. I think I drove 400 kilometers down to Turku, and then I had the concert there. So next up is a cover that I was at some point when I was making this album, I just started to think that this song started to come to my mind, just because it's really 80s for me, and it's really like an essential how to say. I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, this is not a synthesizer song. How can I put this on a Synthesizer Legends album? But then I realized when I started to read about the song, I was like, it's Harold Faltermeyer who has composed the song. You know, the guy who composed Axel F. So he's a legend. So that does it. So then I realized, well, then it's no problem. Then I can do the song. So this version that I made is really close to the original. It's actually so close to the original that YouTube monetization calls it a sound alike, I think, and they are like, yep, this song can't be monetized. So we have a bit of a problem there. So actually, I'm going to have the song a bit muted, and I'm going to fade in when we come to the solo or the melody enters. Yeah, because now we are safe, but the intro drums are so similar because they are made with an 808. I'll tell you more about that. Let's listen to the song now. So that was Top Gun Anthem. I have to check which camera am I using. And I'm getting in a lot of questions, and thank you to everyone also who have these possibilities to donate. That goes through my YouTube partners, so yeah, it's basically a service fee. Okay, so to conclude this song, so there is one thing that I wasn't aware of, and people started pointing out to me that hey, you're having an extra note in the melody, and for some reason, because I hadn't listened to this song for a long time before I made this cover. So I think, I mean, even I was all the time comparing and listening to the original, listening back to mine. I was thinking about what solutions to do, and for some reason I missed that there is no extra note. There shouldn't be two notes in the end. It's like it should be da 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 ba da ba da 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 ba da da ba da da ba da da, and I play da ba da da ba da da ba da da da, and I was thinking all the time when I was making this song, why do I get such a Christmas feeling? It's like this is like a Christmas song, and it's that extra note. so I undeliberately turned the Top Gun Anthem into a Christmas tune instead. So yeah, Merry Christmas to you all. Things happen. This is also a song that would be fun to do live. And I got some questions or comments on the song about the because I'm using two synthesizers for the solo. So the sound comes from my Poly 61, which is over there right now, and what I do is it gets a bit technical, but I realized that it has a MIDI retrofit. And I didn't like the pitch bend in the MIDI retrofit, but it goes like one octave down, one octave up, but it goes in semitone steps, and I was like, that's ugly. I mean, I would like to have it smooth. But then when I was working on Top Gun, I realized, like, wait a minute. When you play a guitar, you have frets on the guitar. So if you do a slide like, brrr, it won't be smooth. It will be stepped in semitones. I was like, I have a MIDI retrofit on my synth doing exactly that. But the problem is, so I just connected. Then okay, I'll play with the MIDI, or I'll just use the foot pedal for controlling the pitch bend by MIDI, using an external controller connected to my Poly 61. And I was like, nothing happens. So what am I doing wrong? And then I realized that okay, I have to play on the keyboard. If I play on the keyboard of the controller, then the pitch bend works. If I play on the Poly 61. Then the pitch bend on the controller won't work. It's the retrofit. So it's like I would need two keyboards to do just that solo, unless I get the time to do my own retrofit for a foot controller pedal input. If somebody of you have have an idea for what we would need to do is like a CV input, control voltage input for controlling the oscillator pitch, and we have to put a quantizer in between that would be in semitone steps. So if somebody of you is an electrical engineer and has an idea how to make such a circuit to put into my Poly 61, please let me know. Okay. That's about that. I got some questions about the workshop videos. Am I going to make a workshop video for Le Parc? Probably not, because I made 3 workshop videos so far, and I had quite a bit. There was quite a hectic time when I did those. So at some point I realized that okay, these workshop videos aren't so popular. So then I decided, okay, I also realized that I was heading for another burnout. So then I stopped doing these making of videos and postponed them instead to January, February, and March. Then I will have a few more making of videos coming out. But there is a lot of work to do these making of videos, much more than doing the music videos that I did. So I will do a few more making of videos that I have already recorded. I just haven't edited them. So Top Gun Anthem will be on one of these workshop videos. But unfortunately, Le Parc, that somebody asked for in the chat, unfortunately Le Parc is not on that. Okay, there's a lot of comments and questions coming in, so I think we're going to go to... Oh, sorry, there was a few questions that I haven't answered that I wrote down here. So let's take those. I got one question that's, is this your first album release? No, I've been making music as a solo artist since 2011, sorry. And 2012, my first studio album came out. I've released several studio albums, but this is my first cover album, and this is the first time I do a live release party or listening party, what you would call it. And so yeah, first time I'm streaming the release party, and but it's not my first full release, no. So if you're interested, just check out my my web page. You can check out to see my. I will put the link here during the next the last song. Have you ever been nervous before going on stage? Yes, when I was a kid, I had my first piano concert for 100 people, I think, in an auditorium, and I was nervous, and I was so nervous that I usually don't read the score. I think I was something like 10 years old, perhaps. Or 9 years old. I was so nervous that I normally didn't read the score. I played it by by heart, and then I was so nervous I read the score, and then I came to the last bar and second last bar, and I hit the wrong note, and then I stopped and I started to check what happened, and I tried it again, the wrong note, and I couldn't figure it out, and I got really nervous. The audience got uncomfortable. Fortunately, my piano teacher sat in the front row, and he whispered to me, just take it again and play. And then I started from the beginning, and then I hit the same note again, but I had learned from my mistake, and I just ignored the mistake and continued and passed to the final bar of the song. And I think that's the only time that I can remember that I've been nervous on stage. I don't know why, but after that happened, I haven't been nervous anymore. Nowadays, I am like how to say, I have a lot of anxiety for tours, but it's about everything else. It's about how can we find a place? Not finding, but are we going to arrive to the venue in time? Can we find a parking space for our car? Will the synths work? Will we make it to the venue without any accidents? And there's so much stuff that can happen and problems. And usually it's like, usually there is a lot of stuff happening as well. So it's like, I don't have time to be nervous. So it's like when everything is up and ready, and then it's like, oh, the audience is already coming in. Okay, I'll just have to take a quick break and change clothes, take a shower if they have a shower at the venue, and go on stage. And then, because it's so big work and a lot of anxiety with getting everything to work, when everything works and you're on stage, that's such a relief. That then I think it really shows in my performance, because I really get like excited or kind of I get relieved when I get on stage and everything works. So no, I'm not nervous, but I have a lot of anxiety for everything else except for the actual performance. It's like, will everything work and so on, but somebody asked me, when am I born? I'm born in 1977. That makes me... I was about to say 47 years old, but no, 46 years old. Yeah, I'm about to... 47 next year, exactly. Hey, thank you everyone for joining in. We still have one more song, and I will still be, because the chat feed is flowing here, I will still be answering a few questions after the song, but let's listen to the last song. So this song is one that I did a short demo of like 10 years ago on YouTube. And then recently I was interviewed in a Finnish TV show about what I do. And then the producer had an idea that hey, we would like you to do a quiz for the TV host about what if he can identify tunes. If you could play they asked me, that's the idea, that was how it went. They asked me that could you play together with this, because this the TV host is also a musician. So I was like, okay, we could try something. And then I got this idea that hey, let's make a quiz, because I was already then thinking about doing this 80s type of album, or was it Urban Dreams that had just come out? Perhaps it was Urban Dreams. Anyway, then I got this idea of, hey, let's make a quiz for where he doesn't know which song it is, but he participates in playing the song, and then he has to guess after we've jammed that what song is this. And one of the songs I did in that quiz then with him was the Terminator theme. Funny enough, he thought it was Top Gun Anthem, which is like the previous song on this album, kind of a coincidence. And then I realized when I did the preparations for that quiz, I realized that, wait a minute, I have this sounds quite good. I could actually perhaps I should do it for my upcoming cover album. So yeah, here it is. And this is the Terminator theme from the original movie, my cover version. You've been listening to Synthesizer Legends Volume 1. Thank you everyone for tuning in and listening. There's still a lot of questions coming in, and I think that it looks like the pace has picked up. So yeah, let's have a short question and answer session before we conclude the release party. The album. I mean, the album cover. We've spoken about everything else except for the cover, the album. This is an original custom artwork by Leo Nuutinen. The fun thing, Leo has been making covers for me since Urban Dreams. Because before that, my wife made the covers for my two previous studio albums, and then also my cousin did had one oil painting that I used for Kring Havet EP, and and the live albums have been photos. So I was searching around I wanted to find somebody because I knew that for Urban Dreams I would like to have perhaps a bit more kind of architectural stuff and technological stuff, and I know that my wife is more into, or I think her strength is in the surrealistic things like on To Jupiter and Back and Purple Hexagon. So then I browsed around on Instagram and tried to find somebody. Then I found this guy who had really hey, I like his style because he makes it. He works with digital tools, but he makes it look like it's made by hand. And I really like his style, and then I really liked the images I saw, and then I started to browse around at who is this guy, and I thought that I have to try to reach out to him. And then I started to read about him, and I realized, oh, he's from Tampere. It's like 200 kilometers away. I thought he was somewhere on the other side of the globe. So that was such a coincidence, and he was really keen and eager as well, and was really kind, and even so kind that he let me use some of his older work as basis. So Urban Dreams and Synthesizer Legends, they are actually originally made by him earlier, but he has reworked them because the original version, for instance, of this, it's I think in this format, so it's like a portrait format. But I said, would it be possible for you to expand it, because I'm thinking about a gatefold, and I would like to have something inside the gatefold as well. So then he expanded the photo, so it's basically, or the image, so it's basically this wide and this low to make it like wrap around the cover. So yeah, so a big shout out to Leo Nuutinen, and it's been also really fun to work this way, because I also was working with my wife the same manner. So the manner I'm speaking of is that early on, I like to have the album cover ready as early on as possible, because when you're composing music by yourself, and I mean these days you can do kind of anything, so it easily gets like overwhelming. That what should I do? Because you could do anything basically, and so then that's one reason why I originally just limited myself to work only with analog synths. This album is also made only with analog synths, because I just found out that I still feel like I have a lot to learn with analog synths, and I realized that you can do a lot with only them. So it became kind of a challenge as well. How can I do this song using only analog synths? And I will of course use digital as well at some point, and I've already been using, but for my studio albums so far and also my live albums, I've been only using analog synths. So yeah, but my point was that that's one way to restrict by only using analog synths. That's one way that I feel like, okay, now I have some framework for my music. Now I have the tools, but okay, I kind of restricted the tools, but then it's still like, so where should I take this? Where should I start? Starting is not a problem for me either, but it's midway through with Urban Dreams I realized that I had a lot of demos and I didn't know what to do, which direction should I go, because there were kind of many different directions already in those demos. And then when I got this first draft of layoff for the album, and then when I got that draft, I was like, now I know what the album is about. And then I took like a couple of hours. I put the draft on the screen, and I listened through all the 100 demo snippets that I had for the album, and then it was like piece of cake. It was like, yeah, this belongs to this album, this doesn't belong, this belongs, this doesn't. So it helps. So I use cover art as I want to have the cover art, at least a draft of it, as early on possible, because I kind of feel like it's kind of a perhaps kind of a collaboration. You exchange ideas subconsciously, I guess, because by watching the artwork you get an idea of where you could take the song, of the album, or what should the album be about. Because I'm only making instrumental music, so I don't have any words. I don't have any lyrics. It's much easier if you have lyrics, because it's like then you can. I think it's much easier. Probably somebody who sings thinks no, it's not easier. But I feel that especially building up an arrangement around the song with lyrics, piece of cake. But make an instrumental song from scratch, it's a bit more challenging, I think. And also about the theme of the album, it's much easier if you have lyrics to go around or work with. Then you get kind of a more concrete idea of what the album is about. So that's about the album covers. A few other questions that came up here was that do I have a favorite soundtrack album? My initial reaction was no, I don't have, because I don't have time to listen to music these days. But then I realized that actually Tron Legacy, that's probably my favorite soundtrack album. It's an album that the Daft Punk, together with an orchestral, can't remember the composer's name, but they worked together on that album and made the soundtrack. Sorry, the soundtrack for that film, and that's really like. I get a bit of Blade Runner feeling from the Tron Legacy in the sense that there are really strong melodies and it's mostly, I think, these days with the Hans Zimmer era type of music. The soundtrack is for the movie, so the soundtrack should support what's happening in the movie. And that's what it does these days. But on its own, they are not songs. It's really difficult to listen to a soundtrack album on its own, I think, because that music was made for a movie. And if you don't have the movie, just have the soundtrack, it doesn't necessarily make sense. If you see it in the movie with the soundtrack, then it makes perfect sense. But without it, it can be difficult. But that's why normally I don't like to listen to soundtrack albums. But I love the soundtrack of this Tron Legacy, and I also think they did a great job with the Tron Legacy soundtrack album. So yeah, check that out if you haven't done it. There will be here is two more questions. If I know Marek Binsky, have heard his music. No, I didn't know until 10 years ago when my fans started to ask me, do I know Marek Binsky? Have I heard his music? So it was okay. Then I started to check it out, and that's really interesting music. And to be honest, I haven't had time to listen in that detail to it, but at least I know who he is. I haven't met him. I have listened to a few of his songs, and I think they are interesting. But that's about it. Somebody else asked me if do I know Dr. Mix. I actually bumped into Dr. Mix on Abbey Road Studios in 2019 when Roland had they had a launch event there, and they were launching a lot of, for instance, the Phantom 6, Jupiter X, and something else, and they invited a lot of influencers there. And I met him there, and just in passing, we spoke something, just briefly in passing, spoke about YouTube. He didn't know who I was, and I can't remember the thing, but the thing was anyway that he found out that I have that I had 150,000 subscribers by that time, and he said that, oh, you should get your silver award. And I was like, what's a silver award? Just Google it. And I checked it out, and I was like, okay, yeah, I could get it. Turned out it was quite difficult to get, but I got my silver award 1 month ago now. So thanks to Dr. Mix for pointing out that I should really get my silver award. It just took me 4 years with the bureaucracy to get it. So yeah, it should be easy to get it. You just click on and make an application on YouTube, but there was some problem with my YouTube account, but my YouTube partners figured it out. So I happened to have, I think, a moment that I was like, okay, now I have some time. Should I do something about that award? Yeah, I got it. Anyway, there's a lot of questions coming in. Let me see where I am. Problem with this is that it jumps oddly, but yeah, I think I answered most the questions here. There are some questions being repeated that I already answered here. For instance, how old am I? I'm born in 1977. You do the math. Which synth lead is on the Terminator? It's the Yamaha CS50, and yeah. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you everyone. I'm getting a lot of love for the album. I'm really happy that you liked it. I had a blast to make this album. Thank you for joining in this stream. This was my first ever live stream from my studio. I was thinking about, when I was planning this release party, I was like, perhaps I should do some live background music at the same time. But then I realized that perhaps let's just focus on getting this the basics first working, and it took me 10 minutes before I got this stream to start up after the stream should have started. So thanks for bearing with me. Thank you everyone. So next up for me in 1 week I have a music video, the last music video from the Synthesizer Legends album coming out. It will be the Terminator theme. So the music video for that will come out next Friday. And the Friday after that, on the 15th of December, then I will try to have as many ticket links and tour dates out on my webpage. So if you haven't done so already, the pinned link on top, you can find the link to the Synthesizer Legends album for streaming or download, or if you want to purchase the CD. And thank you for tuning in. And I also have my homepage. If you sometimes think about thinking about, do I have a tour going on, or what is happening right now, or if you're thinking about, if you want to check out what albums I have and so on, you can always check out my homepage as well. Great. Hey, thank you very much for tuning in. Would love to hear some comments, and was the streaming quality okay? And I probably can check it out myself anyway later on. Yeah, forget that. Thank you everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for making the album a success, because the limited edition sold out in 2 days. So we didn't expect that. I really thought I would be selling the vinyl, perhaps even on my tour, and perhaps we'll have a reissue coming out for my tour. So thank you everyone, and thanks for all your comments. Great to hear that the quality was good, and great to hear. Hey, thank you everyone. We'll do this again sometime. Thank you, and have a great weekend. Bye bye. Okay, where do I stop this stream? Could it be here? Nope. It's probably there.